All right, everyone, here is the charred remains. And looking at this, I think I know what this is. So what we're looking at here are numerous timbers. I can actually smell the creosote, like on that one there, it's heavily soaked. And there's actually more piles of it over there too. So I'm gonna make my way over there. Let me show you what I found before I jump too far ahead of myself. So I mentioned earlier that this was probably either parts of the car shop or the bridge. And I have two pieces of evidence supporting that this was most likely the bridge. Number one is the location. It's right here where the building would have been, which is right over there. Number two, looking at some of these ties and timbers here, there is plates on them. That's what the train tracks sit on top of. So if these were going across, there would have been tracks laying on top of them being anchored down with those plates and ties. So there is a plate with one spike going through it. There's a spike right there. So I am about 99% certain that we're looking at the remnants of the bridge that went across Sullivan Creek that connected into the car repair shop. Now there is another debris pile over there, which I can't confirm that that's part of this or not. So we're gonna make our way over there now, look at that, and then give you a better look at that collapsing wall. There's some ties here as well, which lines up with the bridge. Now the bridge was a good sized bridge. It had multiple lines going across it. Okay, we 100% confirmed my suspicions that this was the bridge. There's no more clear evidence than this right here. A big section of rail laying here on top of this pile of charred timbers. And look at the size of these timbers. They are massive, thick enough to hold the weight of rails and rail cars going across the river. So we have solid proof, solid evidence as to what we're looking at here. Now just to show you size comparison, it's hard to see, but I'm a size 13, and just to put my hand against it, that is pretty thick, as is that one. And you can see the charring of it, some big anchor bolts going through them there. And all I smell is the charred timber and creosote. And a large section of rail, which I'm sure there's probably more of it here. It's just all a jumbled mess that when it burned, they kind of probably had an excavator or something, which is 1979. So they had somewhat modern equipment at the time to kind of pick up everything that was on fire or didn't burn and just kind of place it here. But I do want to get closer to the edge and show you the creek from this side where the wall collapsed. So yeah, I need to make my way over there. All right, we're back here now. This is where I was at in the last video with Alan. There's the collapsed wall. Now, what my belief is, I'm gonna try to find another clearing. Oh, look at the flowers here. My belief is that this was so massive of a bridge that it pretty much went the entire length of this stone wall. So the stone wall ends right over there, goes across, and begins somewhere up there closer to the culvert. So I don't even know how big that is, easily over 100 feet. And the entire length of it has a lip partway down where the timbers would have rested as a type of abutment to support the timbers and the weight of the rails and the cars going across. So I'm pretty certain that this stone wall, everywhere we see the stone wall, was part of the bridge. That wall was built to support the timbers of that bridge. And looking straight across would be right where the car repair shop is. So put it in the scale, that was huge. And to be completely wooden would explain why there is so many timbers here. Even the ones that didn't survive, you know, there is just an abundance of them here. There's even some laying here. A little bit of concrete there. This is pretty much what's left of the bridge. From 1979 when it burned. It's been sitting here like this. All right, so we have probably the best proof that we could get about the location of the car shop and what this debris pile is and where the bridge used to be. Now it's starting to rain. Great, that's terrific. So for the second part of this video, we now need to focus on a big loop, almost like a horseshoe that went through here. It came out from the main line or the active line and goes through the woods and goes over a road called Culvert Road or Culvert Street and makes its way to West Ashley Street, where there's concrete abutments and the tracks are gone. As far as my understanding, the tracks are no longer there, but the rail bed should be. It should be a very evident rail bed. It held two lines, I believe. And if anything, we'll find maybe some ties, some spikes, some plates, some J-hooks, anything showing that the rails were there other than just a clear rail bed. So I need to kind of get away from all this mess, get back up towards the rail line, locate myself on Google Maps, and find where it branches off. And as I was probably showing this, I did show you on the images as to what it looks like then and now. Really overgrown, but it should still be there. So once I get over there and find the beginning of it or the end of it, whatever it is, I'll see you over there and we'll continue our adventure exploring the rail loop. Did any of you bring an umbrella? Good, neither did I. And this looks fun. There's nothing but spikes and thorns. But if you look past that, what does that look like to you? That is a rail bed. Let me cross this and we'll continue on. When possible, try to avoid going through that. Anyways, though, if we look in the distance, there is the active RJ Corman line. There's an abandoned switch spur line going off towards where we kind of started, going towards the roundhouse. But coming this way is a rail line. Littered here are hundreds of rail ties all along the edge of the bank here. And you can tell it drops off farther down. This is elevated and flat, so we are 100% on that rail loop. And we're going to walk part of it, not the entire thing, because it does go all the way to West Ashley Street, which is quite a ways. And just kind of keep our eyes peeled to see if we do find anything related to rails being here. Now, it was reported to be a double line, 2 sets of tracks. Now, looking at this, obviously the landscape has changed. There's definitely room for 1, but 2 might be hard pressed. I'm wondering, there's another flat area just a little bit lower to this going next to it. I wonder if maybe the second line was over there, just a few feet away. Or this way it may have been wider and then maybe kind of changed over time, just from, you know, natural process of decomposition and, you know, maybe some man-made reasons as well. But I want to walk this as far as the Culvert Road, I believe it's called. Looks like somebody's having some type of little party area down there. I see a bunch of tires and some stones and logs. And more of this. Got to ever so gently make your way through without getting these things latched onto your face or anywhere else that could be a problem. The problem is once they latch on, they don't want to let go. All right. Now, as to what this line was used for, obviously it was part of the rail yard operation here for CNJ, which later turned into Conrail, but I think it had a couple of uses. One of them would have been maybe to turn an entire train around, like a coal train or something like that. If it came down one direction of the loop and followed all the way out and connected again, it'd be facing the opposite direction. So it could have been a turnaround. I also could have given access to different parts of the yard. There was different switches and spurs coming off this line, which I've seen on the images. So I think it was a multi-use loop. And look at what we found. All right, here's the evidence I was looking for. The ties are still here. Even some of the plates. The rail would have been sitting right there. Now again, this does not look wide enough for 2 rails. So a couple things come to mind. As I mentioned, there may have been another rail on a lower section next to it. Or at some point they could have maybe ripped up one of the rails, one of the lines, and reconfigure the landscape just having only as one, which is probably more probable. But it definitely was confirmed that there were 2 lines here at one point. That area seems pretty neat down there too. To my left, your right. May have to take a peek down there. They went to a lot of work though to rip up all the rails. And even the bridges. Now, the active line, the RJ Corman line that we talked about a few times already, does go all the way across West Ashley Road on using I think a girder bridge crossing over. But the abutments from this line are still evident. Oh, look at this. Look at that bone. Wow. It's a good size one. It's picked clean. It's getting a bit thicker up here, but we are headed in the right direction. There's a road up here, which means we're getting close to the Culvert Road as it's known. It's an actual, like a 1-lane underpass going underneath the rail line. And it's made out of stone. If possible, I will try to get a picture of it for you guys. See, we're kind of walking in people's backyards here, but it's down lower. This is up higher and flat for the most part. All right, let me get through all this and we'll pick up farther up. All right, that was not pleasant at all. I had to walk through such thick debris and brush, and then going through people's backyards, I felt like, even though I was up here on the rail line, it's such a weird scenario. But we made it though. We are standing on top of what is known as Culvert Streets. I mistakenly called it Culvert Road, but you guys knew what I meant. People have taped flags up here, which is a nice little touch. And looking down, you can see the stone and the concrete. So this is a actual public road, 1-lane underpass to go through to the other side. Ow! It's pickers. Now this area here, this part on top of the bridge is actually wide enough for 2 rails. So we're looking at 1 line here, definitely room for another one there. But again, I think they did remove 1 line at some point. Maybe Conrail did it or whoever, but I at least wanted to make it this far. Now, if we were to continue, which would be a big undertaking just because of how thick and overgrown it is, it would eventually lead us to West Ashley Street, I believe it is, and it would come out to another concrete abutment. That one's made out of solely concrete. There's cars going across it, probably wondering what I'm doing up here, but anyways, yeah, it just is a big loop and eventually would have connected up with other lines further up in the town. So we made it. You know, we accomplished our goal. Now from here, I'm going to give you guys 2 options. I can either say thank you so much for watching, leave your feedback down below, and to make sure you're subscribed to watch future content. And you're welcome to do so. If you want to keep watching though, I'm going to include some bonus footage of an area below the rail line that we spotted earlier where I did see some man-made things other than just like a little party area. It did look like something that was there, maybe a tower of sorts or something like that. So I need to make my way all the way back there, get down off the rail line, off the rail bed, and investigate that. So if you want to continue watching after we fade to black, we'll pick up with that footage there. But if you are leaving now, thank you so much for tuning in to watch. If you made it this far, I do greatly appreciate it. But if you want to keep watching, you are welcome to. But this was a really great adventure. We solidified so many answers to our questions, and I'm gonna get blown off here, so I'm gonna keep going. whether you're staying or going, either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon in the next video. Unless you continue watching. I'll see you in a few seconds. All right, are you still here? Awesome. Glad you stuck around for the bonus footage. So, as you can see, I'm making my way off the rail bed, the rail line. And down here into a lower section now, which did look rather interesting from the surface. So as I pan over, you could see the elevation there of the loop. Okay, coming across some signs of some activity here. So let me switch you guys around. So right in front of me here is a really thick braided steel cable. Probably an inch in diameter. And over here, not only is there a lot of coal, but there's something else. Almost fell there. Something else that's hiding back here. Chunk of concrete. But I saw more. Oh yeah, here it is. It's right in front of me here. Wow, wonder what this could have been. So what we have here is two concrete and steel supports of something, or for something I should say. The pipe there, it does go clean through. Okay, there's probably a pipe laying here, it's notched out. Yeah, this held a pipe of sorts, maybe for water, for locomotives possibly. As we come over here, there is ties. A lot of ties, more concrete. Somebody's makeshift tree stand over here too. Yeah, there's different concrete supports. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I don't know if that's their original location or not, but they are placed there. Looking straight ahead, you can see the slope of the hill where the rail line would have been. But this has me perplexed. If you guys happen to know what this is other than just a holder for a pipe, which seems a bit over the top, overly strong, I'd love to hear your input on that. These steel beams kind of go down right into the ground and follow the same angle of the concrete. And they are bolted in here. Probably 1/4 inch thick steel there. But yeah, I did see that from up on top of the rails. That is something. It's like maybe a utility pole or a light pole or something. This is a pretty big open area. It reminds me of that one video I did, I believe it was last year, where I found the weird, random, bizarre stuff in the woods. And it was like an outdoor living room activity area. It reminds me of that. It's probably just a spot for, local kids. They have a little fire ring here. I guess they're using tires as seats. And some chunks of timbers here. So they got themselves a nice little quiet area. I'm almost certain there's probably more out here to find if we were to keep looking. So since everything's growing in now, I think maybe next winter I'll come back, maybe bring someone with me, and we'll scour the area even more. But before anything, I do want to thank everyone who has helped contribute to me coming back here, providing information, details, articles, photos, everything that was shared in this video and my update video that I did on the live stream was all help to a great number of people, and you know who you are. So thank you from me to you for being so helpful and providing the information to share with everyone else. And in the future, when possible, I will try to do this again with other locations. You know, if information is present at hand, I will definitely do what I can to show it at the time of filming, or to do an update or a return visit. But just keep in mind, I'm not a researcher, I'm not a historian, I'm an explorer. I like to document these things before they're gone. And whatever I am able to share, you know, just understand that I'm only able to get my hands on so much information. So with that being said, I want to thank you once again for watching. If you did make it to the end for the bonus footage, and if you want to see more adventures like this, check the description for all the information as far as playlists. If you want to follow me on Facebook, where I do share photos, videos, and details about my adventures and other things that don't always make it to my YouTube channel. So hope you guys have a fantastic day, night, weekend, wherever you are. Stay safe. And as I always say, I'll see you real soon in the next video. And yes, now the rain has stopped. Curse you, Mother Nature.